Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of my inspirational motivational series, What Now? It is February already, and it is just, the time is just flying away. We're still in a pandemic. We still need inspiration. We still need motivation. And I have an absolute fabulous guest today who is an inspiration on its own. His story is amazing. He's a singer, a songwriter. He's just doing so much and he's so talented. I'm so excited to speak to him because his whole story alone is just inspirational. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate everybody that is supporting the series. I appreciate everybody that is actually contributing by sending me potential guests. I'm just gonna keep going. We're still in a lockdown, and I don't know for how long, so this is going to be my job next to all the other stuff that I'm doing. I see that he's already here introducing the wonderful Jackie's boy, and I'm just going to get him in here. Just remember that whenever you have questions, please below, because I want to keep the conversation flowing, but I will get to the questions eventually. So yeah. What's up?
What's up? What's up?
Oh, you are outside.
Yeah. I'm out here. I'm in Tennessee, somewhere in Tennessee. I'm in the sticks right now. This has been a cool little thing. I'm just like enjoying, the family time and just kind of enjoying being out, trying to get some inspiration, of course,
Are you in a rocking chair?
I am in a rocking chair. I feel like an old man all over again. Like,
on the
you
porch.
See me?
Well, thank you for joining me in this series. And there he goes. He's in his rocking chair somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee. So hopefully he'll come back in here with some good connection. I don't know what happened. He just cut out, but we're just gonna wait. Cujo, yep, that's the guy, except he needs to make sure that he has a good connection so we can actually have a conversation together to inspire people that are watching this or will be watching this later. Let me see. There he goes. Okay, he's back. Let me make sure that this connection stays on. He's coming back. There you go.
My apologies. It's really weird. I went to press. I think you requested me and I requested you at the same time. So it just had this big block saying, "Hey, would you like to add her?" I'm like, "Well, I'm already talking to her." So It was weird. But anyway.
That's crazy. Well,
it's working now.
Stay on here. I thought it was your connection in the middle of
No.
Tennessee.
I'm good now.
All right. Well, as I was saying, I'm very excited to have you because of your story. I mean, we've been talking and, you're just such an inspiration, but we're going to get into that a little later. So my first question to you is, how has this pandemic affected you professionally and personally?
I got to say, it's affected me in ways. I honestly, I'm the kind of guy that sees the cup half full kind of thing. So I've seen the positive effects from understanding that I needed to be grounded a little more. I was traveling a lot, doing a lot of shows in 2019 and early part of 2020. So this kind of got me grounded to reconnect with my family again and just, because I'm a family man at heart and I love being with, my folks and just, like I said, getting that moment to really, have that personal time that I miss so much.
Right.
Now I did have, more than a couple friends get COVID and it was unfortunate to know that they got sick but everybody's better by the grace of God. Everybody's healthy. But I mean, definitely shows have changed a lot on the professional end. Like people just don't do shows anymore. That's not something that's open at the moment. But I do have other ways to connect with people like this. Being able to speak on live and to do virtual shows.
Yeah.
So that part has really stepped up, and I think technology has just advanced so much during this time that it allows people to, see the world in a little bit of a smaller way than it did before.
Yeah, that's very true because, you as a songwriter as well, most of the artists that I spoke to or that I'm talking to are actually, talking about doing writing sessions or even collaborating digitally. it's
Hmm.
not people's preference because people want to be in the same energy and create from scratch, by basically brainstorming creatively. How is
Yeah.
that for you now, not being able to sit in studios with people?
I think when you have two people who have the same goal in mind of creating something great, I think that it doesn't affect it too much. Don't get me wrong. There's an energy when you get in the room with someone,
Right.
but that energy can still translate if both of you guys are on the same page. Whether that be melodically, lyrically, conceptually, whatever you're trying to tap into, you can. It's just I think it's a little more thought out than it was before. Because like you could sit in a room for 4 hours in a studio session and talk about the weather, spaceships. You could talk about everything
Yeah.
in a session, and then it turns into a song. I think when you're doing stuff virtually, it allows you to kind of hey, what are we doing? What's the idea? You kind of have to flesh out those ideas a
More
little bit before.
focused.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? How do you experience that?
I don't see it bad or good. I see it just kind of
It
two different
is.
ways of
Yeah.
looking at it. I think anything with great conversation leads to great songs. And don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, I've had great conversations virtually as well. Just getting to know people and knowing their stories really helps me kind of tailor what the idea or what the song is going to be about. Especially when I'm working with an artist, I'm always trying to understand you know where they come from, what's their background, do they have a dog, do they have whatever they want to tell me about themselves,
Right.
have they experienced pain and what level of pain, because all of that stuff translates very well in music because ultimately we all want to feel connected in some way
Yeah.
to each other's stories.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's true. Do you take inspiration from other people's stories to
I do.
write?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've definitely hear stories from friends and hear their situations and scenarios, because I feel like every great song doesn't have to come from a personal experience. I
Right.
just think you have to convey that story so well that people feel like it's coming from the
Yeah.
singer. You mean
Right.
there's a lot of songwriters who made a very great wealthy living by being able to translate those feelings to the artist, and
Yeah.
Diane Warren is one of them for sure who can be able
Yeah.
to make you feel like dang, like Tony is going through it right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Tap
But those,
into
yeah,
relating to people's story, basically.
absolutely.
Are there's a lot of artists that use this pandemic and the situation that we're in the world. They use that to write, obviously, and to make music or create.
Yeah.
There was a song in the beginning of the pandemic from Anderson .Paak called Lockdown, talking about COVID. There's been several other songs talking about it. Have you been inspired by this situation in the world?
Yeah, I think so. I think what it did was heighten my sense of awareness of the social issues, the economic issues that we have in the world,
Right,
and of course, health issues as well. I did a project called the Black Chapter, right, when COVID was going on, and it was
right.
kind of my way of kind of speaking to what's going on in the world, for the Black community, and like how this all affects everything, like because we don't get tackled one way, we get tackled so many different ways,
Yeah,
like with COVID, we're the highest to die from this disease. We're the highest to be economically, downtrodden. There's like so many things that we experience as Black folks. So I wanted to use my voice to speak on that, and it's like I said, it's got me in a higher sense of awareness than
yeah.
before. Where you could write a song about you know club or just life or whatever, and in a sense, like, it'll all be a good song. It'll all be a really great song. But at the end of the day, now when I'm writing a song about something about in a club, it's just like it don't hit the same
There's no
as it did
clubs
before. There
anymore.
ain't
We
no
can't
club to
go
go
to the club.
exactly. So there ain't that. So I feel like life imitates art, and I think that
Yes.
now we're starting to see that.
Yeah, very true, very true. And then especially, with everything that was going on last year, the protests around the world after George Floyd, it just was a wave of all kinds of things. And you're actually my second guest this Black History Month in America. So
Yeah. Oh,
very
wow.
excited about that. But yeah, that was something that hit the whole that wave hit the whole world, and it really opened up to more discussion. And
Mhm.
I don't want to necessarily say open discussion because people revealed themselves,
Absolutely.
um, and that was really sad. So it did inspire a lot of people, not necessarily way, but also in a beautiful way by putting it into music,
Yeah,
that can also just really translate the lives of actual people
absolutely.
going through that.
Uh,
Um, Going a little bit further into you personally, the pandemic has changed a lot of ways for especially touring artists like yourself. People are now changing their routines. When you're on tour, everything is hectic. Have you changed your habits, your health habits, mentally and physically?
yeah, I would say, I'm definitely hitting that gym a lot more than I was before. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was doing shows, I would get my workout on stage, because
Right.
I like to move around. You might see me run up and down the stage like 3, 4 times. And that's just kind of how I am. But, at being a little more kind of settled down a bit, I find my ways to stay active. I'm eating healthier. My wife is making sure she's staying on top of the things that I eat. Because, the last thing
Good.
what's up, everybody? Oh, yo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no disrespect to anybody, but just for me, I was like, I gotta stay in shape. I gotta
Yeah.
really understand that my body is a temple, not just up here for writing songs, but everywhere. Because
Yeah.
you want to be able to stay as sharp as possible. And for me, all those things work together.
They
And
do.
being sharp is for my music, all affects everything.
So, are the gyms open over there? Because I'm gonna have to deal with this little box that I live in doing my home workouts. Gyms are closed.
Yeah, yeah. Gyms are open in Florida, where
Oh,
I'm at.
right. Yeah, that's right. Florida's just crazy.
Yeah, it's a little different. It's a little different. It's They do things a little different. So I don't. I've been hearing rumblings that they may close down again, that things may be shut down again, somewhat soon in the state. But I'm not sure. But for me, I'm always trying to be careful, right? I wear my mask everywhere I go, even in the
Yeah,
gym. I see
yeah,
people off in the gym. I keep mine on. Because at the end of the day, I got a wife, I got kids at home,
yeah.
and I'm sick, and I don't want to get anyone around me sick. And so yeah, I try to be as careful as possible.
That's good. Yeah, Florida is not the place to be right now. Well, you're in Tennessee at this point.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, so going a little bit more into your story because you've done so much. I didn't even know about you, and then meeting you as a person, and then listening to your art, it was just it just blew my mind. I was like, how did I not know about this person? But then I'm happy to still find such great artists and great music,
Thank you.
because I don't know everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very grateful for that. I've been playing out your whole Spotify list. Yeah, you got some streams
Thank
from the
you.
Netherlands right now. Um, but yeah, so how did you start? What was for you? Let me just not do your whole life story because we don't have enough time for that. When was for you the moment in your career that you were like, okay, this is what I can do for a living? What was that moment?
I think for me, I was very young in age when I realized this is something I wanted to do. I had to be. I mean, my mom, remembers and tells a story of me doing the Michael Jackson moonwalk when I was 3 years old in Pampers. So I kind of always had the idea of like, man, I could really do this music thing. And when I was 12, I remember telling my mother that I thought I could sing. And well, black folks, they always got to be skeptical. They ain't gonna never believe you, or they're gonna be like, yeah, right. So my mom I was like, no, for real, I think I could sing. And then she was like, well, sing something. And
Right.
through my chest, because anytime anybody asks you to sing something on the spot, you like, oh, okay, okay. So I had to collect myself, and then I sung for it, and then she was like, okay, you can sing, and I started really taking it more seriously because she told me after I sung for it, she said, now it's not all about the talent. There's going to be a lot of work you have to put in this if
Yeah.
you're going to do this. And for me, music just always called me. Every step of my life, like from working at Sabaro, working at this place, working at that place, working at every fast food or restaurant, shoe store, you name it. I've always kept my eyes on music, and that's really what led me to come to California and pursue my dream of actually doing it for real.
Was that where you first got your break, in your opinion, where you felt like, okay, wow, I'm making money with this. I don't have to work a 9 to 5 anymore.
Well, I knew that I knew that doing a 9 to 5 thing wasn't my wasn't my bag, because for instance, that took away more from music that I could be doing. So I
Right.
figured, how can I sing and make money from that? And then I started street performing. So going out
Oh,
to like
right.
Third Street Promenade, going out to River Street in Georgia, going out to third every place I could think of, you could think of in the LA area, I would be singing. Like you would see me with a little box and a boom box, collecting tips and trying to be able to make a living like that. And I did for about 5 years. And
Wow.
yeah, my younger brother Steven was out there with me. Shout out to my brother Steve. And we just had this like do or die mentality of just like I'm not going to stop at all until my dream comes true. And for us, it was just like, okay, 5 years is a long time, but then that led to honestly me being where I'm at today, being discovered out there by an A&R and being asked to do sessions and that kind of
Right.
whole another thing. And yeah, so all those steps kind of just led me to where I was happy and comfortable with.
Well, so this is, and because I really want this to be inspiring and motivating to the people that are watching this, whether live or later on. So you were out on the street performing for 5 years,
Yeah.
and you were making a living by that in
Mhm.
expensive ass California,
Yep.
LA. So to all the people out there, if you have a passion, a dream, you will do pretty much anything to make it work. I mean, you are literally the first artist that I talked to that did this specific. People did all kinds of things,
Mhm.
but it's, you got to put in the work. You got to grind and be able to do the things that you may not want to do in order to get to where you are. And I mean, you were at least performing. So, I'm sure you had audiences. I mean, you were making money off that. So you were making people happy with your music.
Absolutely. I think the one saying that always stuck with me is get in when you fit in. You know what I'm saying? Like if there was even a crevice of opportunity, I was gonna take it. And I think us as human beings, we want our just people, we wait for the right time. Like, oh, it has gotta be the right time. It's gotta be the right setup. We gotta meet the right person. What if
Right.
that happens, right? You gotta take
Right.
the you have when you have it.
Yeah.
And okay, I didn't want to work, at my 9 to 5 job. I wanted to do something different, and then that's really what led me out to street performing. I was like, okay, I could do this, comfortably, and I did it for a while. I had a car, had an apartment. Don't get me wrong, it didn't start out that way. I was, homeless for a while, but then things, each step kind of just led to more and more things, and that,
Right.
yeah, it really helped.
And the thing is that you did, again, I want to stress that he did this for 5 years. I'm sure you had your moments where you're like, oh, I want to give up, but then you kept going. So this is just another example that if you keep going, you're going to get there. If you believe in yourself, because that's something that is very important. If you don't believe in yourself, then nobody else is going to believe in you. If you're going to stand on the street with a beaten face, like that you're already lost, then the A&R is not going to pick up on that. You have to be there with your energy
Hmm.
and perform as if you are the greatest.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that everybody should now be a street performer, especially since people are not really on the street anymore. But it's just an example that, they always say just before you want, just right before you want to quit, your blessings are around the corner. And so that definitely is something I wanted to stress in this conversation, because it is meant to be motivational and inspiring. And I think that really is the confirmation of a determined mind.
Hmm.
Um,
I
yeah,
think,
I
yeah.
just want people to understand that you didn't get there by just being who you are. You got there because you worked for it.
Absolutely. And I think, those 5 years taught me patience out of
Oh yeah.
everything. So much patience because, year one, you're hyped off the energy of just being in a different place. And you're like, I'm in LA. Who knows who I can meet tomorrow, right? And
Right.
and in year two, it's like, okay, I'm meeting some people, I'm knowing some people, but nothing's happened. Year three, nothing. Year four, year five, you're like, okay, God would, let me
Yeah.
know what the path is. So you're right, you do have those doubts. But at the end of the day, one thing that kept me going was one, the idea of I'm one of those prideful people in the sense of I'd rather work as hard as I possibly can than go home with my tail between my legs. And to me, going home to Savannah, don't get me wrong, it wasn't the worst thing, but to me, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Like, I don't care how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. And going back home, telling my folks like, oh, well, you know, it just didn't work out, you know, and there's nothing wrong with it, knowing regrouping at all, nothing at all. You can always regroup, but don't give up.
Right.
Not want to give up. I said, all right, you know, I'm going to make this thing work. And in that process, an opportunity came and it really helped.
Yeah. And also, knowing that you've done everything you could, like that's something that I feel like people often forget. Like it's okay to maybe move on to the next goal once you gave it everything you got. I mean, it goes for everything in life, even with relationships. People don't put the effort into it anymore and then, you know, give up. And I think that's what will cause regrets in any aspect of your life. If you know you gave it your all, then you can safely take your hands off of it. If it'll happen, it'll happen, but move on to your next goal or your next success, because God has a plan. And, you know, sometimes you just got to follow that plan and not your own. Well,
you're right.
Honestly,
you're right.
You should always follow God's plan.
Always.
So, yeah.
Always.
So again, I'm going back to my question.
Yes.
What was the moment that you felt like this is it? Was that when the A&R picked you up? Because it's still hard work after that. People think you're going to get picked up or signed with a label and then the work's done. No, you still got to work.
Yeah, no, I would say even after, you know, an A&R said, hey, come to this label. Let's see if we can, you know, take a meeting. It was still like, I mean, miles and miles of just hoping and wishing that something was going to happen. It wasn't like overnight. Sorry about that. Truck went by.
It's okay.
They put salt down on the road because it's so cold.
Oh, for the ice?
Snowed. Yeah, it snowed like all night, like yesterday.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, this is all new to me. I don't like the snow, but but it's good. It's cool to look at.
Right.
But as I was saying, it still was a far process for me because I knew that anything can happen. So when I sat in that meeting, they said, hey, you know, we're working on these particular artists, and Flo Rida was one of them. And Flo Rida had the big hit Low and like several other records. And they asked, you know, they said, hey, you know, we'll get you in the studio, but you only got a certain amount of time. I think it was only like 45 minutes. Because remember, I come from the street. You know, I'm not like, referred by some big guy in some office building. Like I'm not some well-known songwriter. So I had to get in from the bottom. So they're like, okay, well, you know, throw him 45 minutes and see what he does. So in that 45 minutes, I wrote a song called Sugar that's featuring Winter Gordon. And when that song, I was still a little skeptical even after the song was done. And then the A&R said, congratulations, you got the single. It'll be out in 3 months. And I was like,
really quick.
I'm like, okay, like, and I had like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm talking to God, like, was this 5 years really that time for me to understand and be prepared for the things that's going to happen in the next stage of my career? And I just heard him over and over going, yes, this is now the moment.
Yeah.
Be prepared for this. And the 5 years of your grinding was just me grooming you, humbling you, letting you know how much you have to put in this thing, because I don't want somebody to quit. I don't want you to quit easily. So so the song came out, copies, went number 5 on the Billboard. I mean, everybody knew who I was in the industry. I'm starting to work with everybody, like all the people I seen on TV. And that really was the moment, like, okay, I think I have arrived at this moment right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was your blessing that came from the hard work, indeed.
Yes. So that really kind of put things into perspective. I'm hearing noises and all kind of shit right.
It's okay. I'm just hearing you.
Good, because I'm black. See,
you got to pay attention to what's going on.
Like, okay, time to go.
But you're on live, so we capture everything. So
yeah, no, I'm gonna keep it on live the whole time. You're just gonna see me running.
I know, right? Let's not talk about that. At least, yeah. Anyway, I got a comment on Alderwoman Harris. She said "Mad Love" was her wedding song, and I've been playing that song out. If I ever get married, that's going to be on the wedding playlist.
Mad Love,
Um,
yes.
I might have you fly over to sing. I'm like,
Come on, let's
I
do
know
it.
you. I'm not playing the song. I need a live performance.
You know what? Yes, and shout out to Miss Harris, man, because we met on Clubhouse and they did a little thing for me where it was like a listening party kind of thing and just an introduction, I guess what they call it. And she came in showing so much love and just so much like, yo, like you're gonna go places. I believe in your artistry. I know you did all this stuff with writing for other people, but it's really like you're gifted, you're special, and I'm excited to see where you're gonna go. And she was like, yo, I need you to sing at my wedding. I'm doing my vows. I was like, you know what? I'm down. You tell me when and where. We about to make it happen.
Right.
So,
Oh, okay. So you already got booked. I got to talk to her about the dates. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, she got me. She said, you doing this. So,
Right. That's
absolutely.
awesome.
And then,
Uh,
yeah, and then I think that song is so special, Mad Love, because I wrote that about my wife.
uh,
Took care of me when I was recovering from my jaw surgery. So, it's a special song. Yeah.
right. Well, it's a special song to me because it gave me goosebumps, and it was a long time that I had goosebumps from new music that I heard from a new artist that I
That's
never knew. And I had it pretty much with all the songs on, was it Revival?
hmm
Yeah, pretty much with all of them. I just, and yeah, I, yeah, that's gonna be like the wedding album.
I love
um,
it. I love it.
no, that's great. Yeah, let's get into what happened to you. So you're successful. You got stuff going on. You're in there, and then God was like, "No, we're gonna test you some more.
It's not
Uh,
enough. It's not enough.
you're not prepared
Let's give
enough
a little
yet."
more.
Yeah, I know he's strong. He can get a little bit more. And so for me, the reason why I think this story is especially inspiring is because it affected your voice.
Yes.
So as an artist, as a singer, that had to be devastating. Like, oh my God, if you can't do what you love to do anymore. So
Man,
I can't pronounce the name of the tumor, but you
it's
got a
okay.
tumor
I,
in
I
your
barely
jaw.
I barely pronounced it like 2 weeks ago myself, so it's okay. But I learned it. It's called the meloblastoma, which is a very rare jaw tumor. It can attach itself to the lower or top of the jaw, and I mean this tumor was basically eating away facial tissue and jaw tissue, and it was growing inward into my where I sing and into my throat basically. So to make a long story short, it was one of those things where I didn't feel okay. I had a lot of migraines. I went to the doctor, and to the dentist, and I had my uh, wisdom teeth removed a while ago.
Hmm.
So they did X-rays and said, well, it's not your wisdom teeth that's causing these headaches. So I think we need to do like a full panel of your face and kind of see what's going on. So they went and saw a mass, a very big mass in my jaw, and said, hey, this is pretty serious because
Right.
the road to recovery is not going to be quick. They were saying about a year, and they said if I don't get it treated, that I will be losing my ability to speak, sing, and it
Wow.
could end up in death as well. So all these things are flashing through my mind of like, my life and my legacy and
Right.
my family and my kids and like everything that goes into kind of coming to face with your own mortality.
Yeah.
Um, so I said I want to get it worked on however I can. So I went and looked up a second opinion, went and saw to Miami and saw a different surgeon, and this guy is world renowned. Shout out to Dr. Marks. He took good care of me, and he had me back up and running in 3 months.
After
And
your surgery.
after my surgery, they removed the jaw completely from here to here, from basically from chin to ear, and then replaced it with a titanium plate.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah, and now it's all symmetrical. I'm still pretty, so that works out real nice.
Yeah, you
And
couldn't even tell
you couldn't
something.
tell, right?
You
So
got like half a robo face.
yeah, I got the robotic thing going on, and it works. But in that process and in that time, it just really was another blow I felt to just my life. I'm like, man, if I haven't already had enough losing my parents at such a young age, and then
Yeah.
coming out and street performing, kind of making my way, always fighting for everything that I had, and in this. But I was grateful in the sense of understanding that this is going to be an amazing testimony.
Yeah.
Someone
Yes. Amen.
when
Amen.
when I come out of this, and I filmed it, and I put it online on YouTube, and I had people come to me after the video message me on YouTube saying, "Hey, I just got diagnosed with a mieloblastoma. What do I do? How do I, And I would give words of encouragement
Yeah.
because, you can overcome it. And by the grace
Yes.
of God, I came out of it, and wrote "Mad Love" as the first song out of surgery.
Sing it after 3 months.
Yep.
That's amazing. And you know what? You and I, we bonded a little bit over that story because I've been through somewhat similar situations where
Yeah.
I felt like I had to document some of it, and I'm, posting about it online, and it inspires people. I get messages from people that are dealing with some of the same things and are inspired by somebody that talks about it and still lives her life. And so they are encouraged to still keep doing what they do despite, all the hardships. So that's
Yeah.
something that I really related to with you and your story. I
Thank
mean,
you.
I
Your
still,
story is amazing as well. Like, you're a survivor. You know what I'm saying? And I
yeah,
think, that old saying, game recognized game. You know what I'm saying? Like, we understand each other.
yeah,
And I think when we talk about our struggles, that's right. We not only see ourselves, but we're able to help other people see
yeah,
themselves in this story. Um,
yes.
and I think it's an amazing thing. And I got to tell you, you are such a champion. You know what I'm saying? And such a fighter. So I got to, tip of the hat to you as
Thank
well,
you.
Miss Pay, of course.
I can't do it in singing, but the book is coming soon. And,
Oh,
I
we
do
talked
it.
about that. We talked about the book.
Yes, I know. I'm slacking. I need to finish it up. But yeah, it's definitely one of those cases where I feel like if this all happened to me for a reason, then I'll make that reason work. And one of the biggest reasons is to inspire others to know that they're not alone and to be a testimony of God's grace and his power.
Yeah,
So that is something that I feel like, okay, if God gave me this to tell my story, then I will, if I can help others with it.
absolutely.
So going a little bit, so yeah, you're definitely an inspiration. So going into your inspirations, I know your mom was one of your the biggest inspiration in your life. Tell me a little bit about your mom. Why was she such an inspiration, other than you diving into her records?
My mom was just a person like who was just such besides being strong and all of the strong abilities, but she was so inspiring in the sense of her words could be able to make the darkest day seem like it's just like nothing. Seem like it's like everything could be better. And she would tell me just words of encouragement all the time. She would just give me so many gems about life. And my mother's seen a lot of pain, but I just love the way she just persevered. She was a single mother taking care of 3 boys. Always had a job. Always made sure that we didn't go without. And it's crazy because when she was diagnosed with cancer, leukemia, we didn't even know. You know what I
Wow,
mean? She
because
was
she
so
just kept
strong.
strong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she was so strong. I didn't even know. I didn't even
yeah,
know this. And towards the latter end, she just always gave us that it was a never about her in the sense of understanding, like, feel sorry for me.
Mhm.
um she always said I've had a great life.
Right.
I had so many people that love me and support me, and I'm so happy I have my boys. And we will always forever just look at her and just be in awe of just how much an amazing
Right.
woman she was.
Oh, I know she's proud looking down on you. Oh my gosh. Yep. I have no
Absolutely.
doubts about that. So who else are some of your inspirations in your music career? Like, are there specific people, could be people you know or people you don't know, that have inspired you to do better and to be better?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll be here all day going down that list.
Name a couple.
Yeah, yeah, just like just a couple, please.
Yeah. We
Um,
got about yeah.
yeah. No worries. I won't. That's for another time. But one of the names that sticks out to me, who's was was really helped me in the music game and just understanding how this is such a marathon is Charlie Wilson.
Oh wow, yeah.
He is and will always be an OG of just legendary proportion because he just just the way he's such a class act. Like he can perform, and it's like the first time every time when you see him perform.
Right.
And I remember him always telling me when I was writing songs, we writing the songs together. He goes, "Yo, man, you got a gift. You have to continually keep using that gift." And ultimately, he said, "You always have to believe and trust in God." Like that part was,
Yes.
and he's a devout believer in God and in Christ. So that really, showed to me like you don't have to sell out. You don't have to sell your soul to get
Right.
anything that you want. Everything that God wants for you is gonna come to you. Right.
Yes.
So he definitely is probably the one of the most influential people.
I'm thinking. I don't think I've ever seen him perform. I can't. At least maybe at the North Sea Jazz Festival. I've seen so many people like, and yeah, I would think I would have, but at those festivals, I'm usually running around trying to meet up with people and do interviews and whatnot. So yeah,
Yeah,
but
he's cold, man. Like he's one of the like coolest cats you'll ever meet. Very nice. Definitely Uncle Charlie. Like he gives you that
right.
Uncle Charlie vibe when you meet him.
I
So
know, right?
yeah.
So you've worked with so many legendary people. I don't even want to mention the list. Who are some people that you have absolutely on your bucket list to cross off in this lifetime? Who would you really want to work with?
Ooh.
I know you probably have a whole list too. Name a few.
Yeah. I'll limit it down to two. Right? Janet Jackson would be one that I would love to work with. And fingers crossed, I'm working on some things that may hopefully run across her desk soon.
We're speaking it into existence.
That's right. You
are
Janet.
going to work.
Come on now,
with Janet Jackson. I'll come back to you
Janet.
after that happens. You can thank me.
Absolutely. And secondly, I'll probably have to say SZA. I'm a huge SZA fan.
Wow. You know what? That would be an awesome collaboration in whatever form that is. Yeah. I can definitely hear that in my head already.
Yeah. She's just got this. I just feel like she understands herself. She understands where she's at sonically, and kind of like me. Like I feel like I know what space I kind of land in, and yeah, it would be really dope to work with her.
We're speaking that into existence as well.
That's right.
When you get your collaboration with SZA, your placement with SZA, I'll hit you up for my cut. No, I'm kidding.
Hit me up.
So going into the music industry, we already talked about how hard it is to really get somewhere. You have to really fight for it. There's a handful of people that fell into it by lucky timing and network maybe. Not even talent, but it's a struggle. You have to be really willing to put in the work, even if you have talent. Like your mom already said, talent alone is not enough. There's so much that comes with this business. Can you tell me what is one of your biggest mistakes that you made in this industry that turned out to be your biggest lesson and that you now apply constantly and give out to other people?
Yeah, I would say the one thing that I was doing early in my career is I would spread myself super thin. And what I mean by that is anybody would ask to get into the studio with me, I'd be like, yes. What we said that? In the garbage can? Yep, yes, I'll do that too. So everything I would do, I would say yes to. And as I begin to grow and understand my art and my craft, that it's not about how many songs you can put out in a year, but how many great songs can you put out?
Quality over quantity.
And that was a lesson that really stuck with me. And now when I write for others, I may put out 2-3 songs a year, but they're number ones.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Like
Grammys.
yeah. So, I've been blessed to have a record every consecutively for the last 4 years. It's been a number one record. So that's really something that stuck with me instead of trying to chase 10 different artists writing 10 different types of things, running the session. Slow it down, Focus on what you want that song to be about and
Yeah.
connect with the
Yeah.
audience. Connect with that person you're trying to connect with by making the song as best as it possibly can be.
That, you know what, it's really amazing that you had all these number one hits, like, or number one songs,
Thank you.
by carefully picking your, I don't want to say your battles, but your quality, your
Yes.
sounds. So how do you pick those? How do you choose who to work with if you get all these people trying to work with you?
Well, I think how it's been over the last, couple of years is when I have great relationships with producers that I just love working with. Greg Pagani and Emil Gantos is two guys that come to mind. We have this relationship where we get in the studio. We don't know what we're writing about. We just know we want it to be great. And then,
Right.
I'll get a call or he'll get a call and then be like, okay, so-and-so wants to work on this record. And then 6 months later it comes out and then it does extremely well. So that's the part that really, I think, I'm locked in with the heart of the music,
Right.
with the producer. So it kind of finds me. I don't go
And the
out trying to.
chemistry. You
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah.
have
I'm not out
chemistry.
chasing it. It comes to me, which I love, because that means it's meant to happen. And
Yeah.
it's meant to be out in the world. So yeah, that's kind of been my process. And don't get me wrong, if artists come to me all the time and I go, absolutely, let's do it.
Right.
And what comes out of that is what comes out of that. But like I said, I don't do the chasing anymore.
Well, yeah, you're in your position now, so you don't have to do it anymore. When you were talking about, the mistake that you made with spreading yourself too thin, what was the negative effect to that? And I want to highlight this so people really understand why not to do that.
I think when I was spreading myself too thin, the songs didn't carry any weight to me. The songs didn't
Right.
have that sticky substance that goes, dang, I gotta hear that again. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it's not enough, and these are my own things I put on myself. Being on track 12 on a record is cool, but to me, I want the single. I want the single
Right.
every time. At least I want to try to shoot for it. If I don't get it and I wrote the best song in the world, I'll be okay with that. But what I don't want to do is sell myself short by doing all of these sessions and knowing that, oh, Jackie's boy came in and, well, did he write a smash? It was all right. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear that.
But do you also feel, I mean, I think that's a really great point, because I don't think I've talked to anybody that specifically said this. But do you think that, I lost my train of thoughts. So working on a full project, is that something that you would let go and do a single before that? If somebody asked you to produce or to write the whole album?
No, I love being a part of the whole album. I just think in this certain situations, I got asked to kind of come in and write a record when they already had most of the project done. And when I was spreading myself so thin, I just wrote, I wrote a record, which was good, but it was,
Right.
like I said, track 12, and which is no
Right.
problem. But I think for me, doing a body or project of a body of work, to me, I love. I would prefer to do that over just like doing one song. But
Right.
like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do the best at it, and whatever,
Right.
whether that be one song or 12
The
of them.
whole album. Yeah. So do you think that because you came in hot, like number one songs all the time, left and right, everywhere, that you feel like you now have to, stick to that level, that the bar was set high by yourself? Like, do you feel like that's also one of the reasons why you feel like I have to get the single?
Yeah, partially. Yeah, partially. Now I have to. And it's not even really about, I guess, the single for me, but it's got to be the most, the thing I'm happiest the most with.
Right. The best that you did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can walk away from something knowing I gave the best song, the best relatability, the best melody, the best lyric for this particular track. That makes me happy. And if it doesn't, or if I don't feel it, like I'm the kind of cat. I did a one record called Buzzin' for this artist named Man. Like this had to be like 5 years ago. I wrote the record, felt great about the record, wrote the bridge, hated the bridge, was in LA, drove like an hour out of my way, leaving the session, turned right back around, came back another hour back to the session, and said, "I'm not happy with the bridge. Let's
Right.
rewrite it."
But that is something, me as an artist manager, I see that so much with artists.
Yeah.
The first artist that I managed, he had his first project laying there for years, and I had to push it. Like, you're now gonna have to put it out because you're not gonna do better. Because if you work on it too long, you're
Yeah.
gonna alter things that were already good because you're just trying to find stuff. And
Yeah.
so I had to push him to put the project out. And eventually he was happy that I did that because, artists are perfectionists, and it's never, you can always do better. I mean, your next project should always be better than your previous project, So
Yeah, and I think it just has to come from that place inside that makes you happy with it. And as I said, when I did that bridge, the first bridge I did, I was like, it's cool, but I said the chorus will carry it, right? I said the hook will carry the song. It's a hit chorus line, so everybody will sing it, and that'll be what it'll be. But as I'm driving, I'm like, nah, like
the
I
whole
want every
song
part,
needs to be good.
yeah, I want every part to be able to hit you. So I came
Right.
back and rewrote it, and it worked. It ended up doing very well. So and that's kind of just everything I do. I just want to be able to do, an amazing job, even for my own music. Everything that you heard on Spotify or wherever is from the heart. Like, it's nuts.
Right.
There's
But you can
nothing.
tell.
Yeah, there's nothing that was like, oh well, I'll settle. Like, no settling at all.
But that's, and it sounds crazy, but I've been listening to music all my life. My dad was a musician, so I grew up with a certain ear, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I can just tell when artists are being genuine.
Yeah.
When it comes really from the heart, when it comes from with passion, you can just tell. I mean, that's why all the artists that I interview and I ask them, what's the advice that you have? They're always like, well, be yourself. Be honest with your music. And that's not to knock people that are necessarily wanting to be, trendy and have the biggest hit. That's fine if that's your goal. But when you want to put your art out in the world for people to feel something and to relate to it or to heal or whatever the case is, then yeah, it should come from the heart. But party songs are fine too. We need party songs.
We need them too, and those can be from
Yeah.
the heart as well. Like, I had a record called Almost Christmas. I just put out for a Christmas EP, and it's talking about, hey, I met you outside of this, hangout spot, and we hit it off, and look, it's almost Christmas because you just came up here and be looking good, and hey, I think you're my early Christmas present. That's
real too.
And
people
that's real.
Do that.
Yeah.
I don't know about out here now, but not in a pandemic. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, exactly.
I have a few questions.
Let
me dive in there. Okay, well, I was going to ask this question. Jimmy came in here. Jimmy, thanks for tuning in. He asks, what are your plans once the world opens up again?
Oh, man, I can't wait to get back out there and tour again. I can't wait to connect with the people, you know what I'm saying, and just be singing my butt off, you know what I'm saying, and get when you start sweating when it get real good to you, you get some of the sweat particles on the paper.
Right.
I'm trying to get like that again. And then also I want to be able to see people's reaction to music the way we did before.
Oh, yeah. The interaction, the energy from the crowd, and
it's like it's so unexplainable. It's like magic to me to watch how people can hear your music and receive it. One of my things I love to do is go to concerts and listen to some of the songs that I've written and see artists, how the fans react to it. And it's such a great feeling, because I remember I would dream about that feeling. Like I remember listening to the radio, like, man, how cool would it be to be on the radio? Like, how cool would that be? And it wasn't like Kiss FM or something like that. It was just like a hometown radio station.
Right.
How cool would that be? And then to see people react to it all over the world is quite, astonishing.
And it's for you, well, as a songwriter, it's not only your own music that you can hear, but also your own music that somebody else performs. So I can't even imagine what that feeling is, because I'm not a writer or an artist. But yeah, that if you have so many hits that are played everywhere you go, you're like, oh, that's my song. That must be incredible.
Man, it's cool when you go back home. Like, I go to Savannah once a year, And I remember I was at a cookout, and none of my folks are like my folks are happy for me. Like they know what I do, but they don't know what I do.
Right.
Like they're like, "Oh, you do music," you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right.
But I remember I had a record with New Edition and Johnny Gill, like this like maybe 3-4 years ago, and the song was coming on like 6 times on the radio station, and in Savannah, in my hometown, and my uncle was like, "That's you, nephew? There you go, nephew. Look at that. You just made more money. Look at you. You getting paid, nephew." And I could
Right.
Madonna and Bieber and all of these other names, and they don't care. Like, but when you mention something that they grew up with, like
Right.
Johnny Gill, Charlie Wilson, New Edition, like, you know what I'm saying, acts like that, they go, man, like you big time. You big time, nephew.
Right. And you know what, my dad passed away almost 2 years ago in 2019, and this is some of these are the times where I miss my dad, because he knew exactly what I was doing in the music, and he knew about my friends. If he knew about you, he would be so excited to talk music, and he's not here, so I can't have him cheering for what I do in this industry, because he was my biggest cheerleader. He was so proud.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
yeah.
know he will be proud of you. I mean, you're
Oh, he
just a
partying up with your
so
mama.
that's right. They're talking about us right now.
Right. They
Look at
sitting there watching us.
look at what we did.
I know, right? Look, they finally met each other now. But yeah, no, that's so amazing. I have more questions. Let me
Of
see.
course.
Um, well, this question I already asked. El Grande, he says, who would you like to collaborate with in the future? Katie says, oh, I love her. She always tunes in. That's, she's one of my favorite people in this industry also. What should we paying more attention to, according to you? I think in
Oh, can you
general.
ask that? Can you
What
ask that
should
question
we
one more time? I'm sorry, I
what
lost
should
you.
we paying more attention to?
In regards to,
Yeah, I think in general, or maybe about you. What should we be paying more
oh,
attention
paying more
to? But
attention. Got it, got it. Honestly, just everything. Just me as a human being. At the end of the day, like if you take anything away from this interview or in general about me, just that I'm a good person and that I want to do right by the world. The credits and accolades is cool, and even me singing the songs I put out myself as a singer is cool. But I want people to look at my life and look at me as a human being and go, man, this guy believed in something, he stood up for something, you know what I'm saying? That's the parts that matters to me, you know. Humbly speaking, I think I just want to be known as a person that, was a good friend to people who needed them.
yeah. Well, you are, and you are an inspiration. But then she came in here with the comments that she meant in general. So what should we pay attention to in general?
Meaning like in the world today, or meaning
Yeah.
like I think I think we can walk and chew gum at the same time, right? So I think that we can focus on many things that affect us. I think just thinking out loud here, I think that we need to understand that the world is hurting in this place in this time right now. I think there's people who don't know where their meals gonna come from, who don't know
Right.
how they're going to be able to survive. And I think COVID puts things into perspective, where how does it feel getting laid off and knowing that you might not be able to earn any money to
Right.
support your family. And that part hits me pretty tough. And
Yeah, it doesn't matter that you have number one hits. This all hits everybody the same.
everybody the same,
Yeah.
right? Because from the top to the bottom to wherever you are in your life, this has affected you in one way or the other. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Now don't get me wrong. Like I said, I see my cup half full in the sense of I try to find the bright side out of things, but sometimes it's hard too. Sometimes it's hard to
Yeah.
see the positive outlook on life all the time. But I will say, that somebody told me this too shall pass. That things that we experience now are all seasonal. That
Yeah.
things will get better. Life will get better, and hopefully my music is just almost something that kind of gets you through it. You know what I'm saying?
It will. Music helps. Music heals, and also your music will get better.
Thank you.
Okay, so you told me your mom gave out a lot of gems. Give
Hmm.
me one of your mom's gems for to share with us.
um Never compare yourself to someone else, because you'll always be upset. She
Unless
always
the
talk.
person is doing worse. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, 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 yeah. She always used to tell me, like, so what if someone has more than you? Because you don't know what they did to get to that
Right.
point to be able to have those things.
Yeah.
Um, and life is about perspective. Another thing,
Yes.
we have to see the big picture in things. There was a young lady who I ended up working with on a song, who's terminal. She's 11 years old,
Oh.
and she won't. She's such a beautiful soul, and I end up I wrote a song for her last week, and it's about perspective, right? Like my
Right.
my my problems are nothing compared to what this young
Yeah.
child will have to go through and endure and has endured, with her cancer.
Right.
So I think life is about perspective. So I think, anybody watching this understand that, step outside and look at the big picture,
Yeah.
look at things around us, and don't compare. The Instagram and all this stuff is, and I had a conversation with my boy about this, Instagram and all this social media stuff, they show you the highlights, they don't show you the low ones.
We
So
didn't.
yeah, exactly.
We show the low lights too to put
Exactly.
the balance in there.
You got to get the balance. But
Yeah.
if you look at, you know, you know, artists, celebrities, whatever, you think, oh man, I gotta wait till I get $1 million, or wait till I get $20 million, or wait till I be like Jeff Bezos or all of these
Money is
people.
nothing when you're going through these health problems that we have. I can't fix my eyes. If I win $1 million, I'll still
Yeah,
be visually impaired.
absolutely.
Those are things that people don't. We had this conversation. There were young ladies that hit me up saying, "I wish I had your life," and I'm like, "You only see the pictures with the celebrities that I know, but
Mm.
there's also the other side that I'm struggling with that you don't know." I mean, Robin Williams committed suicide. Mac Miller. They had it all,
Yeah,
but you just don't know what somebody's life is really about. So don't wish for somebody else's life. Just make your own life the best you can.
100%. Carve it out.
Yes.
That's right.
Um, what's his name? Big Press Dog. You asked a question, but we talked about that in the beginning of this talk. So feel free to watch back when it's on my IGTV. Lowe's, I really want to thank you so much for being a
Anytime.
great person, wanting to be a guest, wanting to inspire people always, not just for my life, but just for the world. Um,
Anytime.
I hope that there were people that didn't know about you that tuned in that now are going to listen to your music and be inspired by it. Yeah, I honestly, I found a friend for life in you, and I'm just going to
Oh,
say it like this because you absolutely are an amazing person, and I'm
well,
happy that I got to know you.
I gotta say likewise. Like, as soon as we got a chance to chat and we talked, like, I think, it's like you my sister from another
Right.
country right now. So when you need me, I got your back, and I'm just really grateful to know you and to be able to be on this platform and what you're doing for these people, man. Giving so many just life lessons and experiences from people
Yeah.
like this. You're healing, and and I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I do it for. I tried it out and people love it and people are inspired and it helps them for an hour out of their day. So yeah, I'm definitely happy that I can do this. It gets tiring, but I always get inspired from the conversations as well. So thank you so much. Have a great stay in Colt, Tennessee
That's
before you
right.
return. Please be
Yes,
safe out there and you and I will be in touch. Thank you
that's
so
right.
much and
Okay.
we'll speak soon.
Talk soon. Bye.
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 So that was another amazing, inspiring talk with Jackie's boy. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Jimmy, I see you. I know you're kind of new to this, so I really appreciate you tuning in. Albie Jr., I forgot to ask your question, but I'll relay it to him later. Thank you also for tuning in. I have some great guests coming up. Next Monday, I have the amazing James Worthy. And after that, on the Wednesday, I got Buddy from the great, amazing, legendary R&B group Intro. There's a lot of people coming up. So yeah, feel free to tune in, be inspired, and please be safe and stay healthy out there. Thank you guys. Have a great day. See you soon.